Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. That was very nice recitation and reading of translation, inspiring. So today's verse is chapter 4, verse 39. So read the verse and the synonyms and translation purport. So the verse goes, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara samyak tendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena digacchati. The synonyms, word by word translation. Shraddhavan, a faithful man. Labhate, achieves. Jnanam, knowledge. Tatparaha, very much attached to it. Samyata, controlled. Indriyaha, senses. Jnanam, knowledge. Labdhva, having achieved. Param, transcendental. Shantim, peace. Achirena, very soon. Adigacchati, attains. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by discharge of devotional service, by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. That's the promise. Jai Hare Krishna. So we will chant our prayers. If anyone is inspired, we can chant together. Thank you so much. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamarupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Once again, everyone is here. Apologies, it was a bit late when the message was posted, but all of you had faith. Today's topic is faith, so Shraddhavan. We're going to discuss that a little bit. But as I was saying before, all of you, although the message was late, you all had the faith that yes, this is what we do every day. We've been doing for months and years, and we will continue to do, and today also it will happen. So Krishna makes the facility for all of us, and we are here once again. Thank you very much for sparing your Saturday evening in this discussion of the transcendental knowledge given by Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna. So the verse goes, Shraddhavan. We'll go word by word a little bit. Very, very beautiful verse. And step by step, Krishna is giving the formula for achieving the peace. There's another peace formula verse. Does anyone know the peace formula verse that very famous? What is the whole world is trying to get peace. There is United Nations. Prabhupada says every United Nations, every year we have a new country joining in the United Nations because it cannot keep the peace. But it is attempting to do, but obviously on the false grounds. But there is a universal peace formula that Krishna has given us in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, obviously this is a peace formula here. And there is another universal peace formula, which goes like Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Yatmamam Shantim Richati. Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. So we were discussing about so many yagyas. Different types of yagyas we discussed in this last, between the verse 24 until 33. Many times there were people performing the yagyas with the dravya, with the swadhyay, the yoga, which is with the matter, or with their reading of scriptures, practicing of yoga, practicing of pranayam. So many types of yagyas people are performing. And who is the Bhoktaram? Bhoktaram? Who's the Bhoktaram? What do you know what the Bhoktaram means? Who's the enjoyer? Who is the recipient or the benefactor? So all the yagyas that is performed, who is the finally receiver of that or enjoyer of that? Bhagavan says, I am that. Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. All the austerities that is performed by various types of transcendentalists, Bhagavan says, that is for me. So he is the ultimate receiver of that tapasya because he is the only one who can award the results or the benefits of all the austerities, all the yagyas. He is the receiver and he is also the awarder. And someone, and also he says, Suridam Sarva Bhutana. That means Suridam means he's in everyone's heart and he's the benefactor again of all living entities. It's not just human, it's all living entities that we see. Little insect. Just imagine, every time I think of this fact, that Krishna is within every living entity's heart. In every matter, Krishna is there. Every atom, Krishna is there. And how is Krishna guiding a little ant, insect, or a fly, butterfly, you call it pigeon, snake, tree, how to live in that particular body without Krishna being the Suridam, sitting in the heart and becoming the guide for the soul to live in that body. So the body, obviously, there's another discussion with how living entities get particular body based on the desires and deserve. But Krishna does not leave them alone in no circumstances. Krishna is always with them. So Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Yatma Mam Shantim Richati. who understand me to be that person who is the enjoyer of all the yagyas, who understand that I am the one who is the benefactor of everyone. He is the person who can get Shantim Richati, get the peace. So that is the universal peace formula. Here's another peace formula here. What is said in the translation? A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. He quickly, achirena means very soon. And again, there was another verse, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Shantim Nigat, again he says, who becomes, whoever is performing this devotion service with faith, he quickly attains the Shanti and quickly becomes a Dharmatma. So the key word for the verse today that we want to discuss is Shraddha, as I said. So Shraddhavan, so about the word Shraddhavan. So have we heard of any other one? Do you know, or can anyone say another example of what is used as one? What does one mean? Someone who possesses in abundance with life. Bhagyavan. That is a word, right? Who is a Bhagyavan? Anyone knows? Very good fortune. Someone who is very fortunate is called Bhagyavan. Yeah. Any other gyan like any other one like that? Can anyone give example? Dhanwan. Thank you so much. Who's the Dhanwan?
One with money, property, richness.
Money, yes. Opulence, yes. Dhanwan. What is the other one we have? Not caravan. Other one.
I think there is Dayavan.
Dayavan. Wow, very nice. Dayavan, Daya Sindhu. So Krishna is someone, Dayavan means someone who is extremely compassionate. Someone like Srila Prabhupada, sitting in Vrindavan at the age of 70, he decides he feels compassion for the people in the West. For us who are living in the West, whether we are from the West or whoever, but we live in the West. Prabhupada feeling the extreme compassion for the people, and he leaves Vrindavan to give this beautiful knowledge of Sri Krishna. He goes to the West. So that's Dayavan. Yes, thank you so much. Very nice. Any other one? Yanavan as well. Yeah, thank you. I was thinking like that. There's someone who has, some people are very, very knowledgeable. That is opulence. Yanavan. So here seems to be another one. We're talking about Shraddhavan. So this is a Sanskrit because Labate, the grammar rules which turns the n to la, Shraddhava, but actually Shraddhavan. You can see the word to word translation. So Shraddhavan means a person who has the Shraddha. And what is the Shraddha? I mean, we all have Shraddha in one or the other, like right from the childhood. We take that Shraddha. I'm going to go to school, and I would do from wherever we call kindergarten to the junior school. Then I will go to the senior school. Then I will go to the university to get a degree. And I have a faith when I get into the university. I have a faith. And when I do 5 years, I think in India we have 5 years here, 4 years, but 3 years. Depending on what course you're doing, sometimes 5 years for medicine and dental students. But there is a faith that after 5 years, I will get a degree. Otherwise, nobody will go to the university, right? The faith is such an important aspect of life. Without faith, can we live at all life? For example, when we eat, we have faith that the stomach will digest that food and it will nourish my body. If I take some prasad and if I have no faith, I don't know what's going to happen. Why am I doing it? Why am I putting in the mouth or going into the stomach? But we have faith that stomach has the food. And then we have faith that once the food goes to the stomach, it will also provide nourishment to the rest of the body. we put water in the root of the tree. We have faith that tree will, the water goes in there and will then nourish the rest of the tree. So the faith is is every day. It's like we sleep in the night and we have faith that in the morning we will wake up. Where is that faith coming from? That faith is because Krishna, we know that Krishna will do that. I will wake up in the morning. We have faith that when we are we have completed our sleep in the morning again, we will have the sun rising. At least most of the months in this country. Some countries, I think, it is more prominent or more regular. But yes, we know, okay, after winter, a little bit more cloudy. But when the summer will come, we have faith that after this cold weather, there will be summer, there will be sunshine, and we will, we will be once again out with feeling much better, with lots of things. The faith is there in every aspect. But this faith, what we're talking about faith here, what faith are we discussing here? This faith is not an ordinary faith. This faith is a faith when, say, one is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. That is the faith. Acting in Krishna consciousness. And what is acting in Krishna consciousness? This is the other word, what is used here is like tat paraha, very much attached to it, samita, controlling the senses. So this is the process that we follow as part of that Prabhupada has given us. That's another question that comes along is, why should we have faith in the words of Prabhupada? I mean, if you see that way, if someone asks us this question, it's a fair question, right? There are so many things other people are also saying, or the scientists, I mean, nothing wrong with the scientists, but there are people who are claiming a lot of things. But we have this intense faith in the words of Srila Prabhupada, in the words of Sri Krishna. Why is that? Can anyone tell me, why would you trust Srila Prabhupada more than someone
Is to attain knowledge of self-realization.
That is very nice answer. Thank you. The question is why? Why do we have that faith in Prabhupada?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Because Prabhupada is a bona fide spiritual master and representative of Krishna.
Fantastic. Thank you. Such a beautiful answer. Thank you so much. And the other fact is, so let's say we say Krishna says evam parampara praptim imam rajasya vidu. So this is Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada is coming in the parampara. And he's giving us the same knowledge that Krishna has given. This is Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is not something what I think Bhagavad Gita is. There are so many. When Prabhupada came to the West, there were hundreds of Bhagavad Gita translations and purports, but everyone had their own ideas of what Krishna is trying to say. They put their own opinion. But Prabhupada says, no, this is Bhagavad Gita as it is. The way Krishna is speaking, that's how Srila Prabhupada is presenting it. But I was thinking the other aspect is, faith in Srila Prabhupada also develops because we know the selflessness, right? He had no reason to come to the West, as we said right in the beginning of this class. He came to the West and without any personal motive. So he has nothing to gain from this. He only wants to give because someone said Dayavan. He's the embodiment of compassion. He had so much compassion. And because he has nothing to gain personally, and he's only here to give us, that brings more faith. If there's an advertisement of something, we know this person, or there's some advert coming on the social media or TV or wherever we go, we see adverts on the streets, we see adverts everywhere. Everyone's trying to publish something or to give something. But they have their personal motive behind it, why they are trying to advertise, because they have some personal gain in it. Now our devotees in this month of Christmas month, what we call marathon, straight after the Kartik 1 month of Kartik vows taken, and then the devotees go on the street the whole of this month. Every day they're going, and they are all over the country, all the towns, every village. Our devotees are giving out, distributing books of Srila Prabhupada. And why are they giving? What is the intention there? Selfless intention. What is there? Again, they are dayavan. They are full of compassion. They see the living entity. Say, oh, I have received this. And I feel so happy reading this, hearing about it, chanting Krishna's name, and eating prasadam. This is giving me so much pleasure. I must share this. So devotees are so excited, so thrilled, and they take so much risk. Again, this is very cold weather. And but this morning when I was there, saw some devotees, in the dhotis, they're going. And there's so much wind. Today it says, I think there's some special storm also. I don't know what the name of the storm is. But
So Warren, I think Warren or something like that.
something like that, isn't it? So I was, in the evening, I was away. It took me a while to come back from where I was. There's so much traffic on the road everywhere. There's devotees property there, the one creating a storm of Krishna consciousness. And yeah, so there is selflessness. So there is faith in Prabhupada because we know that Prabhupada has nothing to personally gain on this. He is doing it for us. The devotees are going out and arranging so many wonderful programs, so many services that are done in the temple, selfless services. So we develop that faith based on the devotees. When we associate with the devotees who have strong faith in the words of Krishna, we develop faith. Do we experience that when we go to the temple, for example, or when we have some, wonderful sannyasis sometime coming up? There are devotees, beautiful devotees everywhere. So when we associate with them, when we are in presence of, within the presence of such devotees, we develop some extreme faith. There is no problem. There's also one Prabhupada disciple always shares this. Prabhupada used to go from one temple to the other temple to the other temple like that. And devotees would always look forward to his coming. And so I lost it. So when the Prabhupada would go there, devotees would have so much happiness. And before Prabhupada's arrival, they would have thought, okay, when Prabhupada comes, we have to talk about all the difficulties that we have in our personal life, what's happening in my family life or my work life, or if I'm at the temple, in my services, with the other devotees. I've got so many problems, so many difficulties. And Prabhupada would come to the place and would say, so what is the difficulty? And devotees said, there is no difficulty, Prabhupada, everything is fine. And in the presence of Srila Prabhupada, there was no difficulty, everything was fine. Because there was so much faith. Prabhupada had so much faith in Krishna. So he, at that age, he taking a cargo ship. He had 2 heart attacks on the way to America. What he was carrying in his trunk was just Srimad Bhagavatam, just the books. Yeah. But even in spite of all the difficulties that he had literally no money, 40 rupees or $40 a time. That means nothing. But he has such strong faith in the words of Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, I will carry this Srimad Bhagavatam and I want to give the message of Srimad Bhagavatam to the West. And that's what the devotees are also now carrying on the legacy and distributing, profusely Srila Prabhupada's books, Bhagavatam everywhere. The legacy continues of giving the Shraddha, giving the compassion of Srila Prabhupada. A little bit of distraction, but it's such a beautiful time that we should all, at our levels, I'm sure all of you are already doing a lot of preaching and discussing with your family, because we are here, we are getting something out of it, we're getting happiness from here. So we are also sharing. In share, we get even more. This is something very unique about the spiritual assets. When we share, we get more. When the material assets is opposite, we share, we get, we reduce, we part with what we have. But the spiritual knowledge is something that with more we give, the more we receive. So that's the beauty of it. So that's from the, the compassion side. Now faith is also, I'll give you another example of faith. So the faith is, for example, there is a little child, and you see sometimes the father or the father mostly, they will toss the child up in the air. And first time when the child is tossed in the air, the reaction is there's so much fear. Oh, then they cry. Yeah, you must have seen that. And then, but obviously because father knows what he's doing, so he, catches the child as he's falling down. And once the child gets it, oh, there is always my father who, is always catching me. Then he starts to enjoy that, and once more and more. And again, the father is tossing the child, and what was the pain or the fear initially became the cause for the joy, and the child wanted more and more, more and more. This is the faith, because the child has developed that faith that yes, my father will protect me, and my father will not let me fall. This is the example that we can also use in our lives, because there may be ups and downs, falling of a child, going up and down. So there is always a situation in life. Sometimes we are up, sometimes we are down. Sometimes we are in profit, sometimes we are in loss, gain and loss. Sometimes we are, we have fame. Sometimes we don't have fame. Like fame, infamy also comes. And sometimes we are in jubilant spirit. Sometimes we are a little bit distressed. These things always come and go, come and go. This is again second chapter, we matas pashastu konte. So, but the faith that comes is in whatever situation that comes along. If I'm tossed up, for example, I'm in a happy mood, or the situation, things are going very well, we say, thank you so much, Krishna. Thank you so much, because you have given me this. I don't deserve it, but I'm getting better than that. What about when there is difficult time? What do we say? Do we have faith in Krishna then? That's the question comes. So there are three types of faith also. I'll take a little diversion again. There is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is explained. There's Kanishta faith, with faith where some people come to Krishna, and because they've heard from someone, okay, this is go to Bhaktivedanta Manor or Soho, and there are beautiful deities there and very nice Krishna there. You go and you feel very happy, or maybe you can ask for something and you will get it. Krishna says he is the controller of everyone. He's Sriniketan. He's also the Sri Lakshmi is serving him. So people also go for they develop little faith, and they go to Krishna and they ask for something, and somehow they get it, and they say, wow, this is good. Now, but that's it. That faith was only that transactional faith. So if I go to Krishna, I get something, and that my faith is done. So like we go to the shop, we have a currency, and we pay to the shopkeeper, we get some product and gone. We may not go to the shop again. But there are some devotees like that. So they have faith, very little faith. And also sometimes there's a delay in that. Oh, this is what I wanted is not happening here with Krishna. Maybe I should try someone else. They go somewhere else. This is the chapel faith, or which is very tender faith, not a strong faith. Then there is second level of faith where the devotee understands the position of Krishna and his own position. He's understood the scriptures and his faith is firm. So if someone else comes along and try to change his mind, they cannot change his mind, because he's firmly established in that faith that Krishna is the supreme, and Bhakti to Sri Krishna is the highest, and that will give me my goal of human life. That is one person. But he is not able to convince someone else. So he will not be convinced by others, but he will not be able to convince others also. But someone like Prabhupada, he was convinced, obviously, so that he took that effort, and he's given us so much. But he's also like given faith to us, and we coming from all the different backgrounds and with different situations all over the world, and he could give that faith to everyone. So this is the highest level of faith, where Uttamadhikari, he is able to, not only that he has the highest level of faith, he is also able to give that faith to others. So the faith that we were talking about in the child faith is that firm faith that in whatever situation that happens, Krishna is always looking after me. If there is a good time, Krishna is blessing me. If there is a difficult time, then Krishna wants me to learn something. Krishna wants me to go through this experience and then rise up. Why do we get that? So that's actually very interesting. If we, like, I personally look at so many things would have happened, and everyone goes through different times. Today, when we think of what happened 10, 15 years ago, maybe when we were taking an exam, for example, when I was doing my degree exam, and how much hard work we had to put, how much nervousness was there, and then maybe some health issues coming up or some other losses, in all types of losses comes in. But then how do we see that? We see that Krishna is the same Father who will always protect me. So there is one of the first item of surrender. We discussed surrender, I think, a couple of months ago. The first item of surrender is Rakhibe Avashya Sri Krishna. Rakhibe Avashya means he will always protect me. That is the faith. If we have that faith, then if we have faith in someone who is the most powerful, then our happiness will never decrease. We will never be depressed. Because we know even if it is a difficult situation, Krishna is trying to either teach me something that I need to learn in this human birth, or in this particular birth as a human. I may have taken many births as human. But I need to learn certain lessons, because then what is the lesson? That all this profit and gain can only be in relevance to the body, which is temporary. The temporary comes and temporary goes. So there is also yahi sampasya jab hoga dukkha yona evate adyantavanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. Krishna says in further down the chapter, he will say another chapter, he explains, because all that happiness that comes from the senses, the nature of that is temporary, or the material. Happiness that comes from the matter is temporary. Because the nature is temporary, an intelligent person does not relish in that. So if we understand that situation, that Krishna is the only eternal, in whatever situation, wherever, whichever body we have, as I was saying before, whether an insect body or a human body, a demigod body, whatever body we have, Krishna is there with us and he's looking after us. He's guiding us how to fulfill our own desires. Why are we here? If we change our desire to look towards him, then he makes facilities for us to perform the devotional services. So that faith is the most important aspect. Does anyone have any thoughts on this? Because this is a bit important that we go through this. Once we have established that faith, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Only a faithful person can get that knowledge. Someone who's not faithful, he cannot get that knowledge. Shraddhana Purusa Dharmashastra Parantapa. So there's another in 9th chapter, Krishna explains that Someone who does not have the faith. Also, I think next verse also seems like that. Maybe some devotee will cover tomorrow. Without that faith, there is no Shanti. Not in this world, not in another world. So we must develop that faith. And there is a good reason to have that faith. All backed up by all the scriptures, all the evidences, all the spiritual masters, acharyas. We have all the reason and personal experiences, experience of other devotees. We develop that faith. Yes, this is the faith I have, that Krishna will always protect me. And that knowledge I will develop. What knowledge I will develop? The relationship between us and Krishna. So he is the Bija, Aham Bija Pradapita. He is the seed giving father of everyone. Krishna claims that. And then what else needs to be done? So once we have developed that faith, along with the faith, we also, because we are performing what we call a Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means we are performing sadhana. So there are pure devotees who are constantly chanting and they're always thinking of Krishna. And there are devotees who are like us, practicing devotees. We perform certain rules and regulations. We do Vaidhi Bhakti in the sense we get up in the morning, we chant our rounds in the morning, and we do our morning puja or whatever prayers we do in the morning. Then we offer bhoga, then we eat Krishna prasad. So we follow a particular process. So say someone who has the faith. So what is explained here? Who has the faith and he subdued his senses. And we already discussed that. Subdued of senses means dovetailing of senses, basically. So whatever desires we have, for example, we like to eat certain things or smell. Some people like to use perfumes. Some people like nice prasad or whatever the sense objects we are attracted to. We offer that in the service of Krishna and take as Krishna prasad. That is subduing of the senses. And also perform the bhakti. And then what are we guaranteed? With that faith, with practicing of that devotional services, our Shanti, peace is what we're looking for, isn't it? So particularly in the Kali Yuga, there is Bhagavatam verse which says that the people of Kali Yuga, like we all are, in one sense, we are always disturbed. Can anyone claim in this assembly here that they don't feel disturbed? They always are at peace. I mean, obviously, some people, because we're talking about this transcendental knowledge and and the spiritual aspects, we actually start to think a little bit. Now, how much when we chant in the morning, how much the mind gets disturbed by so many different distractions, and we have to bring the mind back again, come back to the chanting, hearing. Do we agree that there is a lot of disturbance?
Yes,
I don't know if anyone has practiced it. Yes. Anyone would like to share the experience of disturbance? No? When we chant in the morning, do we experience anything?
I can share,
Yes.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I get that sometimes because I try to wake up before the kids wake up, so get my rounds done. Then I have to go to the gym and all, and then I start thinking while I'm doing my Mara. Oh, okay, I've got half an hour while the kids woke up. I have to do my Mara, then I have to do gym. So you're right, Prabhuji. The mind starts thinking about what's coming up next. And then what I need to do for my work, have I prepared my meetings right? And then I sit back and say, right, let's go back. I'm here to do my mala. Everything else can wait. So you're right, Prabhuji. It starts thinking the whole day what I need to do. And then I have to take a step back and say, no, I'm here to do mala. Let's do that first. Everything else can wait. So yes, Prabhuji.
It is. And this is us who are we are very fortunate to receive this knowledge and who have received the mala to chant. Just imagine the world outside. People who don't have this knowledge, people who don't have the mala, So for them, it is the whole life is disturbance, constant. Because as you were saying, there is so much to do, looking after the family, the children, the job, at work. There's always so much going on, but the world, more and more in the Kali Yuga as we are progressing into, the situation is more and more difficult in the corporate lives. If someone is working there, I know I go through that every day, every Monday morning, starts meetings and doesn't finish until late and goes on until Friday afternoon. And all that is going on is what was decided yesterday has to change today because things have moved on or something is not right or this or that. There is disturbance constantly.
I think the focus and the sense control also goes with faith.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Please expand that.
Yeah,
Speak
if we
more.
don't focus and then we don't have a sense control as well, we should
Right.
have all that.
Yes, and that focus is what? That we try to bring our mind in control. It's like this is in Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the spiritual master of our Srila Prabhupada. He's given a tip. He says, in the morning, we beat the mind with the shoes. And the evening, we beat with the broom, the jhadu.
Yeah.
What does it mean? So he says we have to constantly, take care of our mind, because uncontrolled mind becomes the worst enemy. It will come in the 6th chapter also. But the nature of this mind is like that, it's disturbance. The moment go on.
But sometimes we should not be stuck at level of faith, because sometimes you become too much superstitious and you get fanatics in that one. It's true, isn't it? We have to be
So that is
very
also
careful
important.
not to get stuck at level of faith. People say that.
Yeah, so faith is always important, Mata. But the question is, where do we put our faith? Why Krishna?
Yes.
This is where the intelligence. Also in the verse 34, we understood like tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya.
Very
Pradekshyanti
true.
jnanam jnanina tattva darshana. Because that knowledge, when we approach the correct spiritual master in the parampara, who has the knowledge, putting faith in such a spiritual master and inquiring humbly and serving, then we get the transcendental knowledge. That's the faith we're looking at. Otherwise, there is faith all over the place. There are so many gods going around everywhere. Not so many here, but if you go to India, you'll find a god in every village. People claim to be incarnation of Sri Krishna or one of the incarnations that they especially come. So there's so much going on there. But there is no background, no support of scriptures, no Guru Sadhu Shastra, no Parampara. But that is not the faith we're looking at. Our faith is firmly in the words of Sri Krishna, because the great rishis who had selfless desire to give to the world, they have proclaimed him to be to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma says, Ishvara Sarva Bhutana. Lord Brahma says what? In the morning we chant. Anyone? Anadi Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So Lord Brahma is saying the same thing. He is the origin, first of the origin, is Sri Krishna. And from him everything emanates. So Lord Brahma is claiming that. Narada, Devala, Vyasa, Asita, all the great rishis have said the same thing. So we are only believing in those words. Mahaprabhu's is the incarnation for the Kali Yuga. This is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. The same Bhagavatam where Srila Vyasadeva, the Satyavis avatar of Sri Krishna, has written it. So we believe in scriptures in the sadhu's words. But that's the faith we're looking at. Yes, so faith is important, Matari, and faith in the correct parampara and in the correct personality is required. And with also there is also said that with the faith, first thing that begins is the faith. So atha Shraddha. Then from Shraddha comes the next thing that we do is in the association of devotees, we do bhajana kriya. Then we take shelter of spiritual master. Then we perform, we go from there and it goes anatha nivritti, and there's a whole process that I think previously would have covered, how he goes from a simple faith to the highest perfection of bhakti is what? Krishna prema. But it always begins with the faith in the correct. So there is also faith. We talk about faith. There is Bhagavatam. There is the story of Srila Prahlada Maharaj. Does anyone know about Prahlada Maharaj? What happened? What did he go through? Can we imagine?
Yeah,
His own
Hare Krishna,
father.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes. His own father, was very cruel to him because he was a devotee of Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he do? What did his father do to him? I mean, can
Oh,
any father do that? Can you imagine? But
no.
so he was thrown off the top of a hill.
Top of the hill, and he
Yeah.
put him into the snakes, and
Snake.
then and
Also in the
then he
fire.
put in the holika, so he
Fire,
take
yes,
him
Holika, yes.
fire. Yeah. So so many troubles he gave to him to kill him. Then in the end, he said, if your God is in that pillar, and
Yeah.
okay, call him, then he can save you. Then
Yeah.
he just shattered the pillar, and Narsimhadev came out and
Yeah.
killed him.
That
Yes.
was the pinnacle. But even earlier, even in the before, when he was thrown off the hill, what was Prahlad's reaction? He was smiling, he was laughing.
Yeah.
Can we relate to this? This is the level
Because
of
he
faith
had
he had.
faith in Krishna. He knew that Krishna will save him.
Yes. He had, unflinching faith. This is
And
called.
yes.
That faith we cannot be shaken.
Yes.
That's why. So he was such a great devotee of Lord. So he had faith that Lord will protect me in all conditions.
Yeah, he was given poison
Poison,
as well.
poison as well, put in the fire.
Yeah.
And then what happened after all that? When Hiranyakashipu was killed, what did Prahlad ask for from Narasimhadev?
Yeah, he said he give him, liberation, so liberate him.
There you go.
This is what he
That's the
wanted.
devotee. That's the quality that, again, the compassion comes in.
Yes.
The devotees have this special quality of compassion that never goes away. So even if he was tortured so many times in so many different ways. He was only praying for his own father in the end. And there is also, we have pastime Srila Haridas Thakur. He was also, he was beaten in 21 marketplaces. In the end, he thought, because these people who were beating him in the marketplace, they got scared. This person is not dying. What will happen to us? King will kill us. So Haridas Thakur heard that, so because of me, these people are in so much stress. Okay, so he went in the Samadhi and they throw him into the Ganges.
Yeah, they thought
And thinking he's
he's
dead.
gone.
And he just, so they said, okay, don't worry, don't. And then out of compassion for them, he acted as if he's dead. But he was not, he was not inimical to them. He was saying, yeah, they don't know what it is. Same like Lord Jesus Christ saying the same thing, Lord, please forgive them. They know not what they're doing. This is the quality of the great devotees. Because they have strong faith. If there is no faith, then there is no peace. This can be also related to life, day-to-day life also. If we have faith in the family, there will be so much peace, that yes, my children, my partner, whoever, we have that faith in the parents, children have faith. That faith gives that layer of protection. Do we get that? Like, we feel more protected when we have the faith. If there is no faith, then we don't feel protected. And then we are in so much anxiety. And someone also said about the senses. If there is this nature also, people, or if we are more engrossed in the sense gratification, trying to enjoy away from Krishna, then we are more stressed. Then we know that. We have experienced all that. That whatever we are trying to put our faith in is eventually going to cause me stress or is going to cause me difficulty. So the senses are in control, then it is easier to develop faith. But if the senses are not controlled, then the mind goes wavery. Then we can't develop that faith. So the few things that Krishna is reflecting here, obviously the faith, and subdues his senses, is eligible to achieve such knowledge. So for us, we practice, as I said before, we practice the process of chanting fixed number of rounds, whatever, wherever we are. If one round, whatever we commit, we follow that process. And that becomes a firm conviction of, okay, I'm chanting 1 round, 2 rounds, then I will go to 4. A process we follow. That is the controlling of senses, or following the tatparaha, that word that's here. So we can very much attach to it. Attach to what? To following the process of bhakti. That is the process. Yeah. Any other question that we can take?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful class as always, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it's very funny. Today when I was reading the Bhagavad Gita, I normally read it very loudly at weekends, because just so somehow if my kids are wondering, at least something will go in their mind or they would listen to it. And my son was just standing nearby, and he was saying, "Oh, mommy, the what you were reading said sun planet, but sun is not a planet." And I said, "Babes, it is a planet, because when you read Bhagavad Gita, you would understand, who is Manu, who is Isvaku." And then he goes to me, and funny enough, Prabhuji, he was saying, "Mom, this is all your faith." Now, faith is something, Prabhuji, that you can't force on someone, right?
No,
Like
no.
I can't force, because my kids are 13 and 11, and I don't know what to do, Prabhuji, to convince him in the best possible manner, because he said to me, "Then, Mummy, have you heard?" I said, "Okay, but you need to sometimes read to understand." And he goes to me, and I said, do you know where we come from? Do you know where we want to go back? Do you know what happens after death, etc., etc.? And he goes to me, "Mummy, have you heard of Darwin's theory? Mummy, have you heard of Big Bang? Have you heard about research? Have you ever heard about scientists?" And Prabhuji, it is hard to sometimes convince this newly growing kids
Yes.
who's listening everything, and I don't want to force my faith onto them, but
No.
how do you convince them? Because I said to him, "Okay, then I challenge you, you read this book and this will answer all your questions. All you need to do is read it." And obviously he then walked away from the room, so he didn't even listen the Bhagavad Gita that I was listening, which is fine, because sometimes teenagers get into a mood as well. So Prabhuji, how do you bring that into your kids?
Yes, that's a very, very nice question. Very, very important. And this is as part of family life as parents. We feel we develop some faith, and how did we develop faith? And I try to think back and say, okay, did I always have a faith, or I also developed my faith, or the faith is also is continuously growing. It's not that I have faith and that's it. The faith, it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger as we progress in the spiritual life. Do we agree that?
Yes, Prabhuji,
The
100%.
faith is every day, every practice more and more, because we get that experience. We get that something, oh, this is what I'm practicing is actually correct. And I can feel that. That is only like because it cannot be experienced by the senses. It is beyond senses. Adhokshaja, Krishna is beyond our senses. So it is only the practice. The Prabhupada used to say the taste of pudding is in eating. So if I try to explain someone, oh, this is very sweet, and what do you mean by sweet? Unless I have it, then I know, the tongue knows, okay, this is sweet. So until someone experiences it, they will not be able to develop that faith. So from our side, how we discussed before, like Prabhupada went to the West, and if we see that, who are the people who followed Prabhupada? They were hippies, right? They were against anyone over 30. They said that these hippies they had a big slogan: "Don't believe anyone over 30." And how old was Srila Prabhupada? He was 70. He went from India. He had his accent, which was thick Bengali accent, and the devotees and some of his disciples, we asked them. They say, yeah, we used to struggle initially, But we had so much faith in this, but we don't know how we developed that faith. Because Prabhupada had so much faith in the words of Sri Krishna in the scripture and his words with his own spiritual master. By his own strong faith, the others also developed faith. So as we develop our own faith, we will find that automatically our children will pick up. They will develop faith. When we see when they see our faith, their faith will develop, Mataji. So I'm sure you got so much faith and you're reading every day nicely, loudly. We just this is a subject matter in itself, the parenting for the spiritual development of children. The prime currency is love. Obviously as parents, you're obviously mother means the representation of God in this material world. So you always give so much love. We just keep giving them love and love and love. We keep increasing our faith. When they see our faith is increasing every day, there will be some question they will ask, how is that? All this, my mother is reading sound. It doesn't sound like what I have understood from my science, because they put faith in the so-called science, and the scientist theory changes every day. About when after some time, it takes a while. But if we go in the logical argument, there are some books also we have. I can text you some names of the books if someone wants to understand scientifically how it can be proven what we have. There are many scientists we had in our movement who done wonderful work. So in short, Mataji, we keep developing our faith more and more. And the Krishna, we believe in Krishna's magic. That is our faith in Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna's magic will happen.
Haribol. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, there's a question here. If one performs devotional service without having the faith, is devotional service of less or no value? Yeah. So first of all, performing devotional service without faith, I don't know how it can happen anyway. If there is no faith, initially, see, there will be performance of devotional service. Means there is some faith. That's why someone is performing. But there is a little faith, as I was saying before. There are three types of faith, where it says the temporary transactional faith. Okay, I will do this service, and maybe and once it's all done, then I will go back my own way. Or maybe it's not working. It's been a month I've been coming to temple. I still have to pay my bills. It's not working for me. Go somewhere else. So that's what happens with the with shaky faith. But by the association of devotees, the faith increases, and after following the process, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Prabhupada says here, this faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service, performing that, and by chanting. Two things: serving selflessly and also chanting. There's so much power in this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's Maha Mantra. It's the mantra. So how does this mantra become perfect? So, there are so many shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita or in Sanskrit. There are so many shlokas. How does this mantra become so potent? There are other mantras also, like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Narayana. There are some people chant Lord Shiva's name, Om Namah Shivaya, like that. Why does it become so potent? Does anyone know? What's the difference in any the normal Sanskrit verse and a mantra that is for chanting, for japa? We repeat the same thing. Someone coming from outside, what are you doing? Saying the same thing again and again. But we just want to chant more and more. This is the power of Maha Mantra is like that. Someone asked Prabhupada, why do you chant? What is the ultimate objective of this chanting? And what Prabhupada's answer was? Anyone know? It says to chant more. So this is the process where we chant so that we can chant even more. So this is the power of this Maha Mantra. So by performing, chanting with little faith also, Prabhupada says, as you we put faith in so many things. Even Mataji, Namrata Mataji is saying the children they put faith in scientists, right? You have to put faith. There are hardly anyone who has actually, created their own scientific theories and they have faith in themselves. Then they put the faith in their own senses. But if we know about the great scientists like Einstein, they were all, strong devotees, strong believers in the power of God. So the trick is only that. So the process of chanting will automatically develop the faith. We just carry on and on. Apratihata, ahetuki apratihata. Two things has to happen in bhakti. Ahetuki means which is not motivated. So what is the motivation of a devotee? To see smile on Krishna's face. That is the only motive that the devotee has. He's not doing any transaction with Krishna. That is ahetuki. Hetu means some cause. Ahetuki means without any cause or without any motive. Apratihata means there is uninterruption of service. But in all conditions, good weather, bad weather, the devotees are out in the cold weather to distribute. Doesn't matter, it's raining, it's storm, and this and that. Apratihata, non-stop. Every day, chat, unstoppable. Every day, Bhagavad Gita. This is apratihata. Then another question here. For example, we are supposed to be in 10,000 years of so-called Satyuga. With the current situation in the world, how can we have the faith that is true? Yes, so this is the same world which is, we know what's going on. There's fire in the world at the moment. There's so much going on. The degradation of dharma every day. But in the same world, there is this appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he has given us this Mahamantra to chant. So I was saying about the power of mantra. So the difference between the normal mantra and this mantra or the normal shloka Sanskrit, this is because Mahaprabhu himself has given his own potency. So there is a verse also Prabhupada has said about this clearing of the material heart. So what happens with cleansing the heart? There is Sikshashtakam Mahaprabhu has given us. Does anyone know Sikshashtakam? Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagani nirvapanam shreya karyava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam Nandam Budhivardham Sarvatma Snapanam Param Jayate Sankirtanam. So this is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. As we chant this mantra more and more, Cheto means Chitta. Chitta is the word where we have the impressions of many lifetimes. We see that the children are born, every child is unique. In the same family, I have a daughter, I have a son, we were 4 brothers. We are all different. Where is that? Why are we different? We're born in the same family, raised in the same family, been eating the same food that was cooked by the same mother. And what is that? Why are we different? Because everyone is carrying different impressions of life. There's a chitta. There's a cheto. Cheto darpana marjanam. Darpana is the mirror. Marjanam is what? Is the cleansing of heart. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagami nirvapanam. This Mahamantra is cleansing the heart of all the dirt that we have accumulated over many, many lifetimes. When you start, brooming a room which was closed for a long, long time, it accumulates a lot of dust. And we start cleaning it, a lot of dust comes in the air. But the process is finally cleans the whole room. So that is the for the current yuga, we have actually, it is said that even the demigods are lining up, queuing up to take birth at this time. And Mahaprabhu has given this easy process of achieving what would have been a very difficult process in the other yugas. In the Sat Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. And Sat Yuga, people used to perform thousands of years of tapasya. And in the Dwapar, there used to be chanting, the reading of scriptures. Dwapar used to be the performing of deity worship, and yagyas in the Treta Yuga, we used to perform yagyas. There is no long span of life in Kali Yuga. There is no knowledge of any yagya. The only knowledge of yagya is Sankirtan yagya, chanting of Mahamantra yagya. And where is the deity worship? Where is the opulence? If we go to India, like South India, there is this temple, Srila, and there is Padmanabh Swami temple. There was news recently. They had like tons and tons of gold in the temple. Where is that kind of money? Where are those kings? Well, what kind of deity worship is, we doing wonderful by the grace of Srila Prabhupada. We have wonderful deity worship going on. But practically speaking, this time is not for that. Today's yuga is for the chanting of Mahamantra. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kalavanasti, eva nasti, eva nasti, eva gatiramneta. From the Puranas that Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam. So I'm going to take the last 1 more minute. 3 times something is repeated means that is very important. So this Mahaprabhu himself, Krishna himself comes in the guise, is a Channa avatar, he's like hidden avatar. And he's given this mantra, he's put all his potency in this mantra. And this mantra only, we can develop our faith by practicing it. And no matter what the world outside is, just like a lotus is above the mud, is not touched by the dirt, is above. That's how the power of this mantra is. Even we will be living in this current time of difficult situation, but by the power of the mantra, Mahamantra that Mahaprabhu has given us, Prabhupada has given us, we remain like lotus. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your patience, hearing, and hopefully we will have more and more faith developed as we go on. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji,
Thank you,
for the
Prabhuji, for the wonderful
Hare
class.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.